Ring around the rosy pocket full of posies. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down.
It's November 26 of 1995, and the badly decomposed body of a man is found by hunters in a wooded area in Bradford, Rock County, Wisconsin. Almost skeletal, the man was fully clothed, wearing a plaid flannel jacket, black and white camouflage pants, and a black t-shirt of the heavy metal band Venom. Also, when he was discovered, they found a black 1994 Nike Airbound shoe beside him. When an autopsy was performed, they determined that he was a 5'6" Caucasian male, roughly around the age of 17 and 20. And besides his clothes, he had straight brown hair, which was about collar length. Judging by how badly decomposed his body was, they first estimated his time of death around the fall or winter of 1994. But after later modern comparisons, they determined the TOD around May or June of 1995. Also, since they couldn't find any trauma wounds, no cause of death could be determined. Yet, they theorized the man may have been intoxicated and died from hypothermia after either passing out or going to sleep in the woods, where he was discovered. After taking DNA samples and getting his dental records, the man's body was buried at Johnstown Center Cemetery in Rock County, Wisconsin, under the name John Doe. But during the many years he went unidentified, he would be known as the Rock County John Doe, River Guy, but the most famous and popular one was John Clinton Doe. When investigations first began, many people came forward claiming that they seen John Clinton Doe back in October of 1994 around Turtle Creek, where he was drunk, distraught, and belligerent. However, this was when the time of the death was set around the fall and winter of 1994, but after updated information reduced it to around the spring of 1995, it was unlikely that John Clinton Doe was the same man. Nonetheless, 26 years went by and John Clinton Doe had yet to be identified. His case was featured on many true crime shows, and breakthroughs in 2014 and 2018 were made. But it was February of 2019 where the DNA Project and the University of North Texas School of Biological Science Forensic Unit used genetic genealogy to track down possible relatives to see if they could get a match. Yet it wouldn't be until 3 years later on June 14, 2022, after making sure, that the Rock County Sheriff's Office would finally announce that John Clinton Doe was identified as Carl J. Isaacs Jr. Carl, according to identity, was born on April 30th, 1974, and was living in Walworth County, Wisconsin, prior to his death. Besides that, he had a criminal history of bad behavior, mostly as a teenager, which led to many run-ins with the law. It stated that on April 16, 1995, Carl Isaac Jr. was on house arrest when he left home and was never seen or heard from again until his remains were discovered. One of the reasons was it was said that he was trying to turn his life around and get away from all the negative people that influenced his bad behavior. A sad case and a very tragic ending to one person's life. But thanks to the nonstop investigation and dedication from many people, it's great to know that John Clinton Doe can finally rest in peace, knowing that he has finally been identified.
Next at 6, for nearly 30 years, the identity of the Riverman in Rock County has been a mystery. That is until today. Authorities were finally able to identify the man as Carl J. Isaacs Jr. Up until now, he's been referred to as the Riverman and more recently John Clinton Doe. The Rock County Sheriff says this has been a mystery for most of his career. It comes after the DNA Doe Project announced the case was solved in 2019, but withheld the name at the request of authorities in Rock County. Today, the sheriff publicly identified the remains as Isaacs, who had walked away from the Walworth County Jail back in April of 1995.
Kind of sad to have to get together and discuss the untimely death of a young individual in our community, but I am glad to finally be able to bring a little resolution to the individual's identity.
Identifying him took 2 weeks of investigative genetic genealogy analysis, and they say just because authorities have solved this part of the case, that doesn't mean the investigation is over. That investigation moves now from identification to cause of death.
Many questions remain unanswered, something that puzzles the man who first found the body back in 1995. Naomi Coles is here to explain.
Gary Gilbank was hunting on his parents' property with his nephews back in 1995 when he looked down from his tree stand and saw a garbage bag. He's told his story before with us, how he found a bag of belongings next to a clothed skeleton and then alerted police. Today, as he learned the body's identity alongside the public, he's still got a load of questions that none of us know the answer for.
Well, I guess I'm glad that they finally identified the remains. You know, a lot for the family of John Doe, so they can kind of put that to rest. I was hoping for a little more information today.
Police explain the little they might know from family is under wraps for now as the investigation into his death continues. Tonight at 10 o'clock, how the man who found him has tracked the story for decades and wonders along with the community what might be next.
Ring around the rosy, this evil thing, it knows me. Lost ghosts surround me, I can't